Hi guys, welcome to Alté LDN Podcast. We're back again for another episode. It's Afia here, and we also have
Charlene, back like we never left, you know.
And this week is Mental Health Awareness Week.
Yes.
So yeah, this will be like another quick fire episode like we did last time, and that works for us because, you know, we are working girls and all that.
We are working girls. But you know what? Actually, let's start with that, because trying to juggle it all is actually all a part of mental health. To be fair, definitely like it's quite difficult to sometimes like manage your time, and like Actually, I feel like I can speak for both of us in that, like, we both like to live our lives kind of more freely, but sometimes like you need to actually put like certain things in place or structure certain things in order to help your mental health, because then what happens is you get overwhelmed and everything gets too much. It's like on tops. But yeah, so but yeah, we are working women, and we're trying to do a couple of different things. You know, being a creative is hard out here.
Exactly.
And you know what I mean? So. But yes, happy Mental Health Awareness Week. And I guess it kind of says what it is on the tin really, but it's just you know, a week of the year where globally mental health is, you know, brought to the forefront. You know, a lot of different organizations tend to hire sort of freelance or contract, you know, different mental health professionals, from like sound bath facilitators to you know, therapists to you know, just lots of different things, sleep therapists, you know. So it's a great opportunity to sort of really raise the profile of mental health, especially in the situation that we've been in for the last year, you know. So
I mean, like, yeah, there's just so many different layers of like mental health, and it could just be things from like learning disorders or like difficulties or things like that, or just like going through things like depression, anxiety, and all that sort of stuff. And I feel like a lot of people have absolutely been dealing with that throughout the last year, as you said, especially when it comes to like just being depressed because we're at home all the time. We haven't seen people that we know, or we're not able to like interact like we would. And then there's a lot of anxiety when it comes to going out now, because like, well, we've been trying to run away from this virus the whole time. It's a bit like, oh, like, can I do this when I go out? Can I do that? And there's just so much anxiety around
niggas is scared to leave the house,
yeah,
or like, and not even like scared in the sense of like, obviously thankfully, you know, it seems the situation is getting better. However, like, just like scared, honestly scared about people's perception of me, like you know, like, oh, like Charlene looks kind of shabby these days, like it's been a year, like,
oh right,
that type of thing. Do you know what I mean? And that's actually the minefield I feel like a lot of people are dealing with. Do you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, it's true, because like people like may not necessarily look the way they did when they went into the lockdown, and like, you know, a lot of people who relied on things like the gym and stuff like that, maybe they didn't look as good as they felt when they were going in. So yeah, there's definitely like a lot of that appearance based stuff. So, and
that's really to the point of like how much emphasis we place upon appearance, you know. A lot of people, or some people I should say, have like switched over jobs. Like that's hard in itself. Like, okay, never actually met these people in real life. They've only seen me, they've seen me from my shoulders up, like what they're gonna think of me, like. And the point is, the fact is, as human beings, we judge books by their covers. Like, we make assumptions and we draw conclusions about people without, you know, we're biased, and that is just the facts of being a human being. Now, unless you're consciously not biased, then naturally, if you're going to see someone, you might think this or that, and it's not okay. But unfortunately, that's what we're dealing with as human beings, and that's the kind of minefield that we've been in, whereby we've been in the house, you know, and so we haven't had to face anything. And so a lot of people are like really sort of trying to grapple with the fact that, like, okay, it's really about to be open, like I'm really about to be able to go out, and like, I don't know if I'm fully comfortable with that, you know. Yeah, I hear that 100%. So it's been hard out here. But yeah, have you like engaged with anything this week, or, you know, have you like taken part in anything, or have you, like, it might just be that you've practiced, you know, maybe like being on less Zooms, or, you know, that type of thing. Like, have you, you know? Yeah. Well, I haven't done anything like, well, yeah, I mean, I guess actually just for my own like anxiety, I guess I've been making a note of things more, so like the list of things that I need to get done, just to stop me from feeling overwhelmed. So I've got a few tasks that I need to get done right now, but I've made a list of them, and I've like just made sure I'm going through that list and like ticking it off, and it just makes you feel so much better once you've got it done. And like, I'm trying to not put things off as much, because I get anxiety about doing things. I'm like, oh no, I'll do it tomorrow, and it just makes it worse and worse, and you get to it and you're like, shit, I've only got like one day to complete it, and it's just a mess. So yeah, I'm trying to get to things like as and when I can, and that's one of the biggest things that can help as well, honestly. Like, one of the biggest things that can help.
like it's hard to do. Like no one wants to sit and make lists. Like it's boring, but it does really help. So,
do you feel like your organisation? Before I do answer that, sorry, do you feel like your organisation is like signposted stuff, or do you feel like it's been sort of like a big topic of conversation at like work and stuff, or?
How do you mean?
As in, like, so, like, for example, I was going to get to what I've been doing. So my organisation, like, circulated different things to take part in, and like, also it's been like a sort of big conversation in like our morning meetings, stuff like that. So like, I was going to say, like, for you, has your organisation done anything like that, or have you?
No, they haven't.
Interesting.
This is plain and simple. My workplace, very negligent is what I'll say.
Okay, interesting.
But
yeah, in terms
I'm glad
of
that your workplace is doing that.
I mean, it's been where I work, they've done quite a lot. So they sent out like a calendar, quite like and aggressively actually, like sign up to some stuff, like and because at the end of the day, like we all have like intranets and things like that, but it's not. I don't think that's enough, because at the end of the day, I know a lot of people don't even look at the intranet. Like I don't think I even know what my intranet looks like. The landing page when you go onto the internet. With, like I know like headlines and shit like that from the company. So they sent around like a calendar for the week of lots of, and like my manager in the morning, he like was like, I think it's my duty to definitely highlight that if you've not actually taken notice of it. Like I know there's lots of things going on, but like definitely like book onto as many things as you need, and just drop us a line if it like clashes with anything else we've got going on, kind of thing. So that was cool. So I've actually done quite a few things. So I did sound meditation and healing, which was really cool actually.
Oh, that's good.
And it was led by a black woman, which I also really liked. And she's from like a holistic health centre somewhere in North London, and cool. She had these like gong things, which was dope, and that was nice. That was half an hour. I did meditation as well, and that's first thing in the morning, to the first half an hour of the day, so that was also cool. And then I've done a few talks. So firstly I did a talk on how to sleep better, because if you know me, my sleeping patterns are madness. So I did that, which is really good. And something that might be useful for you, if you probably know, or if you don't know already, and also for our wonderful listeners, is that obviously we know that blue light is so bad for us. Now I personally, I've got blue light glasses that I wear especially like when I'm on the computer, and I've noticed a difference like wearing them all day. But one thing to do, the sleep therapist said that you should turn your phone on night shift, or I'm not sure what on an iPhone it's called night shift, I think, when basically it's got a bit of like an orange hue, and basically that takes off the blue light from your phone. She said that you should use your phone like that 24 hours. Like she said that you should always use your phone like that, because the blue light actually fucks up you like being able to go to sleep at night.
Keeps you awake.
Exactly,
no, I have the night mode on. I have to have that because it's just too bright otherwise. But I think like a better thing to do is probably to not even use your phone at all. I notice if it's really hard to do, but like to force yourself, as soon as you get into bed, like that is your bedtime, and you don't need to be using your phone, and that it just makes it a lot easier to sleep. Because if I go on my phone, I'll be on my phone for like 2-3 hours after I've gone to bed, and it's just like I'm not getting to sleep early. She
said don't even bring your phone in the bedroom, which obviously is so hard for a lot of people to do, but I know some people that can do it, like and she was like,
have you seen
go
I was gonna say, have you seen those people who like they put their phone on the other side of the room, and then so when their alarm goes off, they have to get out of bed? I think that's quite good, but it'll be so annoying though in the morning. But I think that's probably like, because I struggle getting up as well. So that could be something really good for people.
I hear that. Yeah, honestly. Well, she was like, you know what? Get an alarm clock. She was like, don't even have your phone in the bedroom. Like, actually, just get an alarm clock. Like, I'm sure. She said, she'd like to think that everyone could afford it. It cannot be expensive, kind of thing. So, because she was just like leave your phone downstairs or just in another room charging if that's what you want to do. She said it really is a hindrance, and she said also the lead up to bedtime, like she said, is like wind down hour. She said that really that's super, super important if you're struggling to sleep or anything like that. Like that wind down hour, like turn off all the sort of bright lights in your house and make them like all like put all the low lights on. If you whatever your nighttime routine is, do that at the start of the wind down hour. So like, for example, if you wash your face or whatever, brush your teeth, do that at the start of the wind down hour, and then actually like wind down. But then something she kept talking about was and when you get into bedroom, either listen to music or just do the sex. And I was like, this is kind of weird. because my manager.
What did you say? Do the sex.
She said do the sex. I'm like, my manager is definitely on this call as well. This is kind of. But yeah, she was really, really helpful. So yeah, just in terms of that, if anyone does struggle with that, something I definitely struggle with, definitely look up CBT insomnia, they call it, I think. Yeah, so cognitive behavioral therapy insomnia, and that like it's got like lots of different ways to like help you, and that was basically what she was kind of talking about today in the talk. Yeah, but something I wanted to have a discussion on was, so I did another talk with an organisation called Black Minds Now, which is quite a popular UK organisation, you know, for BLM and, you know, associated with BLM, I should say, and obviously just to support black people, especially in the workplace, and just because of all the fuckeries you deal with on day to day. And something they were talking about is imposter syndrome. So yeah. Do you know about? And I feel, you know about imposter syndrome? Oh my
god, I know about imposter syndrome.
Should we? Do you want to say like what it is?
Yeah, explain. Do you want to explain?
Okay, so I guess and obviously correct me if I'm wrong. But imposter syndrome is basically just like the feeling of just not being enough, not being, not feeling like good enough. Sorry, never like sort of really realizing what actually realizing your accomplishments, not going for opportunities when you know, because you don't feel like you're good enough. So just in generally the general feeling of like inadequacy, and and it's particularly prevalent in black people and black women at that. So yeah,
definitely. And I think it's also like most of the time it's something that you are like generally good at. Like, you know, you can feel confident if you're like, maybe you're an artist, okay, so you've been like playing guitar or whatever, and you know that you're good, but then you just get that moment, it's like, wait, like what am I doing? Like why am I doing this? Who gave me the confidence to even do this? Like I shouldn't be in this place. I can't be applying for these jobs that I think that I could get, but I just probably won't get it because I'm not good enough. And it just takes you back. And getting out of that is so hard, and I deal with that so much. Especially like with the lockdown, and if you were applying for jobs, because so many people were applying for like jobs, that was like a hindrance where you're like, well, yeah, maybe I'm not good enough, and then you just feel really shit about yourself. So yeah, no, I definitely relate to that.
It's so hard, and I think there's several layers, right? So firstly, you know, being in a country where we've been oppressed, like we've always been told we have to do twice as good to be at the same place as our counterparts, right? That is the first thing.
Yeah, that is a big thing. Yeah,
right. And so that
because you see people who haven't even got the same qualifications as you, and they're like getting ahead. You're like, what?
Right. Yeah. No, literally. And there's so many different case studies, and it happens in every industry, whether you're in creative, finance, whatever the case is. Genuinely, it just is the case. I'm not really sure what the answer is. Obviously, you know, they're doing a lot of things like, you know, definitely, you know, having more executives of, you know, of different like sort of ethnic minorities and things like that. But I'm not really sure like what the real answer is going to be for that, because it's a lot of years that needs to be undone, kind of thing. But yeah, so that in itself is just already like, okay, fuck, like you're already putting yourself at a disadvantage. Then it's like, okay, cool. To your point, you know, applying for looking at jobs and thinking, oh, I can't do this. But it's like, but why? Yeah. Because really, you've actually done everything that you need to do in that job.
Exactly.
Like in your current role, or maybe, you know, studying or whatever the case is. So it's like, what really is it? It's because we've been told and conditioned to feel like we're not enough, we're not good enough. Or like, you know, for example, and then on the flip side, it's like, okay, right, like you're now in a position, you're like, fuck, I'm so lucky to be here. No, why are you lucky to be here? No, you're qualified to be here.
Yeah, exactly.
You're qualified. And then it's like, okay, right, so you're doing something, you're not quite sure. Like, say for example, you're new to an organisation. Of course, whenever you join a new organisation, regardless of whether you're doing the same job or not, or in the same field, you know, every organisation's got their own ways of doing things. Every organisation's got their own systems. So, you know, you're trying to do some simple task and you're like, oh fuck, like, I'm not sure how to do this. But you're like, no, I'm not going to ask my colleague because it's going to make me look bad. These are all things that we deal with, and it's so difficult, you know?
Yeah.
It's so 100%. Difficult. And yeah, it was really interesting. Like the talk I was in was for like an hour and a half. And it was, yeah, just hearing like different people's experiences was really interesting. And they had like a therapist, and then they had the sound healing person there as well. They had like a proper psychotherapist there who was talking about like different examples and like sort of the things you can do, or just different ways to help yourself sort of like move forward from that mindset. But honestly, like it's hard to be a nigger out here.
I was just gonna say, like, something really useful that my therapist told me once is when I didn't get a job for something that I really wanted, and I was like but I felt really really shit and really low about about it, and she was like, well, like, why did you want to apply for the job? So I told her why, and she was like, okay, cool, so like, what skills do you have? And I was like, this, and she was like, have those skills gone anywhere? I was like, no. She's like, well, exactly, you still have those skills, like no one's taking anything away from you. And I was like, yeah, that's the word. And I was like, yeah, you're right. She's like, you have those skills, just unfortunately it just wasn't, the right time. It wasn't the right time for you, wasn't the right place, like there wasn't the right company for you, and that's absolutely fine, but you still have all these skills and all those talents. No one's taking that away from you, so you can just now take that and apply it elsewhere, and someone's gonna see that in you. And I was like, yeah, no, you're right, and that just made me feel so much better.
Mate,
so,
that's
guys,
crazy.
Remember,
that's good.
Yeah. So guys, remember, if you you have the skills, like even if somewhere, a company, you might not be a right fit, and that's fine, but it doesn't mean you don't have those skills, doesn't mean you're not talented and know what you're talking about or doing. So yeah, please don't let that get you down. It's hard, it's easier said than done, obviously, but yeah.
No, that's actually that's really good advice. And it's just really good advice. And it's like, also another thing is, don't beat yourself up so much, like honestly, because it's like you're already getting a beating from everywhere else, and that, I mean, don't mean a physical beating as such, I mean like a a mental, emotional, professional beating, right? Or abuse, if you like, from everywhere else. Don't come and abuse yourself. And that's something that my therapist told me. She was like, Charlene, like you have this, it's good, you can't control what's happening around you to an extent, but you can control what's in your mind. And so like you're already like, this person or this thing has already told you, like, okay, like maybe this is not the right thing, or this has not gone the right way, or where the case is. You don't need to add extra sauce to it in your mind, like, because I'm someone who like my mind runs, just absolutely runs. It's actually so bad.
Anxiety.
No, listen, my nigga, so it's actually so peak. And like, I think as I'm coming to like realize and understand myself more mentally, especially like in things like therapy, and just like being a bit more aware, and also educating myself on just like different things that are happening, and realizing what I was going through like when I was younger. That anxiety shit is a killer. Like, oh my god, like I'm just literally, it's wild, and it really is crippling. Like, it's so crippling. It's so crippling. Like, we don't go after things because of our head. That's literally it. I think again, like going back to just being black, if you think about, not everyone's parents obviously, but if you think about some of those kids' parents, especially with ethnic parents, where there's so much pressure to do well at school, like that from young, that anxiety is built in you. If you're like, oh shit, like I got a B, but my mum wanted me to get an A, like you're shitting it. That's anxiety all the time. So then you've got no choice but to bring that into your adulthood, and you're figuring out like, why have I got all this anxiety? And you're like, oh shit, yeah, because in my childhood, my parents were like, you have to do well at school, you have to do well at this and that, and you just got that constant like fear in your body and your mind. Absolutely. And then obviously the comparisons of, if not to your siblings, and to your cousins or whomever.
Exactly.
Like it's hard out here for a nigga. And I think to myself, obviously I think to go like to unpick that, because I'm like, right, like where is this coming from? Because like I don't like, like we're all literally, I've not met a counterpart of mine who's ethnic, black to be specific, and even Asian actually, who's not dealt with that, so I'm like, I think obviously that's really very much the culture there, and that's to the point of like how our societies and cultures are actually so different, as in like from back home to like obviously the Western world, where it's like, okay, it's just a different way they grew up. It really just a different way they grew up. But the thing is that when I look at my cousins and my whatever who live in Sierra Leone or brought up there as well, like they're still dealing with that today. So it's like it's just the way that society is upheld. And I love Sierra Leone, we talk about it all the time, but Sierra Leone is backwards, and that's just a fact of the matter. Like they need to be a bit more progressive, with things like that. Looking at other careers, like I think to my cousin who I love, like he was saying, look, my child's gonna have to be a doctor or an accountant. It's like, but there's so many other careers.
Has to be.
There's so many other careers.
Like,
yeah.
What if your child it was not an academic? What if they're not interested in that? Like,
it's just crazy. Like, and there was nothing else, and like that was that. Simple as. Like, she was like, yeah, she's gonna be a doctor and an accountant. So sorry, an accountant or a lawyer, and that's that. So she just needs to pick which one when she's ready, kind of thing. I'm just like, wow. So she can't be interested, but like she does extracurricular, she does music, she does swimming, she does this, she does that, right? So what if she particularly becomes great at that? Are you going to stop her from becoming the next Serena Williams? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's
exactly,
and this is the problem, like when you don't let your children expand on their creative prowesses or things like, or just anything else on their, you know, anything they're interested in, like you can actually halt them from like really realizing their full potential, and that fucks with our heads. Like,
and that's maybe why you have imposter syndrome and shit like that. So it's just, it really does go back into childhood.
Honestly, it's crazy. It's actually, and it's something we can talk about all the time. But yeah, definitely, you know, if you don't know a lot about it, definitely look it up, and there's lots of different things online that can definitely sort of help you understand and work through it. Obviously, Afia and I are sort of huge advocates for therapy if that's something you're into, but if you're not, there's so many different things online that you can do, read and educate yourself on to like really help you get through it. And there's lots of different like pages and stuff like that, so definitely just like look it up and stuff. But it's hard out here for niggas, man. It is hard.
Well, I mean, like, speaking of that though, I don't know if you've heard the girl from Little Mix, so the mixed race girl, Leanne Pinnock. She's done a documentary with, is it BBC? I think it's with BBC Three. It's on iPlayer now. It just came out, and it's basically, it's called Race, Pop and Power. So it's basically talking about her being like the only like black girl in Little Mix, and just like how it's been for her in the industry. And it just like made, I don't know if you saw the conversations that were happening last year, because like Alexandra Burke came out of her experience, Misha B came out of her experience.
I mean, hers was horrendous. We've seen that live and direct. We saw it live and direct on TV though, like
exactly.
So from X Factor, fam, when she was called was she called a bully, or what she from? Was it not Tunisia, if I'm not mistaken?
It was Talisa who said it. She said it straight on. And like, if there's shit going on, like at least keep it behind. I mean, it wasn't even true. Like she said, like this is what was really going on, and like at least keep it behind stage. Well,
Talisa, who was appropriating black culture, I beg, please.
I'm telling you,
it's wild,
exactly.
It's wild.
And obviously, and Keisha from the Sugar Babes as well. Like she's obviously gone through her old stuff, and like the girls who replaced the entire Sugar Babes were like, you know, Keisha, she was intimidating, she was like a bully, you know, all the typical buzzwords she was getting called. But yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but I think that'll be like a really interesting thing, and just like talks about the realities of what it's like to be black in the music industry in this country. And I think that's oftentimes why a lot of us do go over to America, because like we're a lot more respected over there, and like we actually get our flowers over there.
Creatives are paid more,
so
creatives are more respected, and there's more space for them space for black creatives, I should say, to create, and that's just facts. It's just facts of the matter.
And it goes back again to like the mental health thing, because Misha B was talking about how much it affected her mental health, and like trigger warning, but she was like, I was suicidal, you know, like there was a time when I ran out of the house because I just felt so low. It was like raining, I had no clothes, she was like, I had no shoes, nothing on me, but I just needed to get out of the space. Like she was just at such a low point, being only 19 and like dragged apart on the TV, in the newspapers, like it's too much. And the same with Alexandra Burke. Like I remember when she like had just lost her mum, and she was on Strictly Come Dancing, and the abuse that she was getting, like it's too much.
It's crazy. And this is why you see us and we're struggling, and we don't know what to do, because there isn't support for us. There just isn't. So now we have to make things for us, by us, Phoebe. Okay, that's what we're living by, for us, by us. That's why we're building Black and Asian therapy networks, or black therapy networks, and you know, women in black women in music, and all these different groups, because unfortunately there just isn't support. So and then that's what everyone else does. So that's why we have to build things for ourselves where we feel comfortable, where we can thrive and we can flourish, and we can excel. And loads of other societies doing it. It's about time that happens in the UK. I don't want to be here to see it, as in because I'm going to be somewhere else. This is not to sound morbid, but you know, the UK needs to do better. And to your point about Leanne, I would assume that it's probably derived from when everything was happening last year with like George Floyd and stuff like that, and also, you know, the anniversary's coming up for that as well. So, you know, just shouts to all black people. But she released a video on Instagram which went like viral, and when she was like crying and talking about her experience of like being a black girl in Little Mix and how that was. So I should imagine this is probably like an extension of that. And I watched that at the time, and I thought, this is really heartbreaking, to be honest. You know, it's really hard to be in interracial bands, relationships, all that stuff, you know.
And this is the thing, like her as a mixed race girl as well, like she was getting it so bad, because she's obviously a light skinned mixed race girl, and like if she was getting it bad, like
imagine she was black,
dark skinned black girl, there's not a chance.
imagine she was fully black. It's crazy.
It's too much.
It's actually crazy.
Too much.
But yeah, shouts to them. They're pregnant, even though I don't actually care. But you know.
Oh yeah, they're pregnant.
Shouts to her and Perry. Like.
Is it? Oh yeah, Perry. Yeah, it was. No, I think it's Jade and it's.
No. It's Perry.
It's Leanne. It is Leanne. Yeah, it is. Yeah, Leanne Perry and Perry. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Jade's just started going out with my guy from Rizzle Kicks.
Is it?
Yeah, Jordan. No, not Jordan. Harley. No, it is. I don't know which one's which. The one that rapped. I can't remember. Maybe it's Jordan. I think it's Jordan.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
I can't even remember. Yeah.
Let's get down with the trumpets. Let's get down with the trumpets. Yeah,
they're from Brighton, innit? I remember that. Rizzle Kicks.
I mean,
but yeah, some other like celebrity stuff that's been going on. I don't know if you've seen like the whole thing with like Chrissy Teigen's tweets being exposed.
Yeah, so she was
her coming for
Courtney Studdard, right? And she said that she should told her to go and kill herself.
Yeah, well, Courtney's pronouns are they them, by the way, so just say that.
Sorry.
But yeah, cool.
Told them to go and kill
I don't think that many people know. They only just came and said it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically, like, I think it was Courtney who like pulled it up again, and they were like, oh, Chrissy, like, I remember when because you were talking about being an advocate, because that's why Chrissy firstly came off Twitter, because Chrissy was like, oh, like, you know, it's too much on here. There's a lot of bullying. There's this and that. I'm leaving Twitter. She's like, after 10 years, like, I'm leaving, and so she left. And then I think Courtney was, I don't know how it came up, but they were like, yeah, I remember what you were tweeting me when I was 16. Chrissy was telling Courtney to go and kill themselves. They were saying, like, I can't even remember what else I was saying. They were like, oh yeah, like you can go take a dirt nap or something, which means like bury yourself alive or something. It was just like,
and I seen that she's apologized, but I don't actually, what was the motivation though?
I don't know. I think it was literally just because Courtney was obviously being taken advantage of at only 16 years old, bearing in mind, and married that 50-year-old man. And I think that's why people
her parents
did
her such a disservice by letting her do that. It's just crazy. I would never understand. Sorry. I mean, their parents. I really do apologise. I don't mean to. I do not mean to misgender. Their parents should be.
I don't even know. I don't know if they did it for like money. The parents I'm talking about. I don't know if the parents did it for money or whatnot. But like Courtney was like, you know, I was taken advantage of. I was 16 years old.
I mean,
and like
they definitely were.
Chrissy,
they definitely.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
Chrissy is a big woman.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. Chrissy is a big woman.
She was 26 at the time when she was doing it. So what are you doing? Like,
the thing is with Courtney is interesting. Like that to me is like frontline like brainwashing or something, because I remember at the time Courtney was like, yeah, no, I love him, like it's all good, it's casual. Like they spoke out a lot about it. And then now, like to see. Obviously, they broke up with Doug. I think his name was like time ago.
Yeah, Doug. Yeah,
but to see like now, it's like raw. Like, but the point is that they had to get permission from her parents. Like, so yeah, you're right. I don't know what it was, but that was. I think everyone's seen that. It was wild, and like.
But that's why it's crazy to me that everyone was coming after a 16-year-old. It's like, I mean, obviously 10 years ago, times were different, but I mean, it's still like, come on. And like, yeah, everyone's been like celebrating on Twitter because people just really don't like Chrissy Teigen, and just saying like, yeah, it's about time that she got exposed.
Yeah, no, I mean, Chrissy Teigen's been super outspoken about so many different things. Obviously, she like hated Trump, which I'm okay with, but I don't know, she's always been really, really like, outspoken, hasn't she? I don't read, to be honest, I haven't read, I've just seen it. I didn't really read too much into it, but like even from the outside, not having much information, like, and you know what she said to Courtney was horrendous. Like
it was very
horrendous, just horrendous. Can't talk to people like that.
But yeah, exactly. Yeah, best wishes to Courtney, and I hope that they're in like a much better place. And yeah, because that is a lot. Yeah. Anything else that you've heard?
Brother,
recently?
Can we talk about Porsha?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Right, so you gotta fill me in because like I've watched Real Housewives of Atlanta off and on, but like I don't know what the latest.
So did you watch this most recent season or not?
Madness. I haven't seen the most recent season. No.
Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna say, so this most recent season was actually pretty good, given the fact that they filmed it in a pandemic mainly, and lots of things happened. Cynthia got married, blah 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 blah. Kenya's going through Kenya. I don't know. Kenya is, I don't even know what to say about her, but yeah, she's going through her trials and tribulations with her husband, and then there was a whole thing where they went to South Carolina, had like a bachelorette party for Cynthia, and they had the Bolo stripper, which is like a whole big storyline, which to be honest they exhausted that because it was becoming boring. Like, look, someone set with Bolo, cool, like, but like Kenya and Marlo were just doing OTT to like every single episode. It was too much. So anyway, we get to the reunion now, and everyone's fighting. Anyway, so in the show, you know how they have like friends of the show. So for example, Marlo's actually technically not a housewife, even though she's been in it for so long. She's actually a friend of the show, as is like Shamia. And then they brought on a new friend of the show called Fallon, super pretty woman. She had a husband called Simon, and Simon, and he's got an African surname, Guadabia, something like that. And yeah, they super rich. Man had like a private jet, like, so she appeared in a couple of episodes, went to a couple of events, including the bachelorette party in South Carolina. So cool. They were on they had the reunion show. Everything was like really like potent or dicey, whatever, and that was fine. Nothing really major came out of that. That show came out on Sunday. Monday now. I see the Daily Mail. I'm like, she's posted a picture with Simon, so Fallon's husband, and Dennis, and she's in the middle of them with like a big sparkler in her hand. So I'm reading the story, I'm like, what's going on? Turns out that she is now engaged to Simon, aka Fallon, who came on as her friend, by the way. So you know, obviously underneath their name will say like who's friend now. So came on as her friend. Like she introduced Fallon, like, yeah, met this girl called Fallon, she's really cool. That she's her husband's good friends with Dennis. They went into her house. They went into her house a couple of times in the season for parties and pool parties and whatnot. Fallon was invited to her party and lots of different things. So they definitely were, or at least appeared to be, friends on the show. And then she was like, yeah, so she's like, yeah, we're engaged. And like he put up a picture on his Instagram, was like, yeah, we're engaged. Now under the caption she writes that they've been going out for a month, and yeah, she knows it's quick, but yeah, they're in love. That he filed.
Wait, they've been only going out for a month.
Supposedly. Fine. She filed for they filed for the divorce in January, so it's been it's been 4 months or so, supposedly, and she said she was never friends with Fallon, and then she said, look, she knows what the opposites look like, but love wins. #. I'm thinking to myself, excuse me. Now this is my problem with it. Okay.
Wow.
This is well, okay. I don't actually have a problem with it. This is my thing with it. Fine, we know that reality shows are sometimes real, sometimes not. We know that. But yeah, you can't. Why would you bring on a whole person and like make them appear like, no one said you're best friends, like, I'm not saying that at all, but you were cool. Yeah. You were cool. So why would you bring on a whole person? You know, you've been to her house, you've been in her pool, you've gone on holiday with her. Bring a whole person to then come and say you're not friends because you decided that you want to marry her husband. I think it's so crazy. Like, but at the same time, I think Porsha's messy, but she's mad pretty. I get it. Porsha has a type. Her type has got a lot of zeros. So no, but like this is facts. Like, and listen, again, love Porsha because I think actually she's one of the realists on there, to be honest with you. She's kind of very real. Like, you know, one of the things in the reunion was like, Kenya was like, why do you not what happened? She was like, I'm not gonna lie, I just kind of made a decision, I just don't want to be a friend anymore. I was just like, wow, okay. It's just, and sometimes it happens like that. You just realize that you don't really want to align yourself with someone anymore, so you decide you don't want to be friends with them, and that's that. But Kenya was really pressed, and she was like, that's kind of what happened. It was like, that's probably one of the realest things that someone could have said. But I don't understand. And for me also, no one would have known if you hadn't posted a picture. So I don't understand why you decided to post a picture, because you could have just lived your life blissfully. Maybe someone would have seen you out at some point, but I just don't know what the need. Statement. There was like a few pictures, and then she was like, you know, like Dennis and him are co-parenting really well for PJ. This guy's been in your life for 1 month, supposedly. Like, I'm sorry, what? That's actually my biggest issue. Like what? Make it make sense to me. I just think, I don't know, like for me personally, regardless of whether you're actually friends with Fallon or not, I think, do you know what? If this has happened, like maybe 3 years from now, and so if Fallon and the Simon guy had filed for divorce and got divorced, and then like maybe 2 years down the line, we've seen that like he's with now Porsha and they get, do you know what? I wouldn't have actually minded that much. I think for me, it's the timing is a bit mad. Yeah. What do you think?
Well, I think I probably agree with what you're saying, to be honest. It's just like, yeah, the timing is really bad, and also I don't understand why you needed to do the whole statement. Probably because she knew that she was going to get judgment. She was like, look, let me just tell it like it is so people know, and then they can't say anything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just felt there's a lot of men out there. There's like a lot of men out there. There's a lot of men out there.
Yeah.
She's so beautiful. Like Porsha's actually so beautiful. I think for me,
but it's kind of like they did it to create a new storyline, though.
Well, she's gonna get her. She's getting her 3 parts. She's getting her own 3 part spin-off.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
There you go.
They've announced
there you
it.
go.
But apparently that was already agreed before this was actually
right
announced.
Well, she wants to make sure people are tuning in it. So
I mean, apparently so. I mean, I just think I don't know. For me, I wouldn't want the Wahala. That's just me personally.
It's too much.
It's just too much Wahala, and I just think to myself like, even if I think for me like as well, even if you weren't, you're saying you're not friends with Helen, and to be honest with you, for anyone that watches Housewives, it's funny because like Portia's like, you know, we're not friends, so like she does that a lot of different people, but it's like you still know her. It's like her now going to try and date Kenya's I don't know if I think it's ex-husband or soon to be ex-husband or whatever. Like that would be weird, and I feel like it would be the same thing because her and Kenya are not friends. And so, but in her mind, it would be justifiable because her and Kenya are not friends. But it's like, well, no, like you know her, like you've been in her vicinity, like you met them together, or you know, it's really weird. It's actually.
I just think like
really
if it's just anyone that you know and you know their man and you know that they're going out, I just wouldn't go there. Do you know what I mean? But, like even friends, like say you met one of my friends, they were like it was like a friend of a friend or whatever. So you met one of my friends and they were going out with someone, and you met them like a good few times. And then like next week, you know, like, oh yeah, I'm going out with like your friend's ex. You'd be like, huh?
It's just like, it's not computing. It's not computing.
No,
it's actually not. But it's I don't really know. It's so wild, and obviously a lot of people have a lot of things to say on on the internet.
On Clubhouse,
so,
Clubhouse. There was like a 900 room fucking conversation, and people were going off. Like everyone was on like different sides, and I was just listening because I was like, I don't know what is even going on, but it just sounds crazy.
But something else actually I want to bring up was so I don't know if you listen to the Joe Budden podcast or know of it at all.
No.
So but you know who Joe Budden is.
Yeah, I know who Joe Budden is.
But anyway, he's got arguably probably one of the biggest podcasts like in terms of listeners like and viewership.
Really?
Yeah. Like they get like I think 3-4 million listeners a week or something. So one of the biggest podcasts out there. They were number 1 on Spotify, but the reason why Spotify don't put them there anymore is because they basically like dropped out their deal with them. So basically Spotify hate them now. But yeah, they're one of the biggest podcasts in the world. And basically he like fired his co-host like live on air. It was crazy.
Oh, I heard about that. I think I heard about that. I saw that on Twitter going off. But yeah, Joe Budden, I feel a way about. I've got opinions about Joe Budden, but we won't get into that today.
Do you?
But yeah, I do have a lot. I mean, he's an abuser. He beat his girlfriend.
Oh right, yeah. Erica.
No, I wouldn't support anything.
I mean, I didn't say that's that's neither here nor there. But
that would be me supporting. But yeah.
But yeah, he I mean, we're not gonna get into that. But the point is that I think the fact that he did that was crazy. I thought that was so crazy. And I listened to that part of it because his episodes are like 3 hours long, so they are quite long. But
3 hours?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And they do 2 episodes a week. It's crazy.
Jeez.
But yeah, he was literally like, and you're in breach of contract, so Rory, don't come back. I was like, rah. But my nigga wasn't even there. So they're just gonna listen to it and find out they shouldn't come back to work anymore. That's wild. Mad wild. But yeah, man, that's if you knew more about that, I would have said like, what do you think about like how the thing anyway, it's a long story. It's actually a long story, and he actually kind of explained like how they got to that point. And you know, some of what he was saying, I was kind of like, you know what, fair enough, to be fair, because them niggas were getting paid. Obviously we don't know what they were, but they're getting paid a good enough to where they can afford to live for doing 6 hours work a week and nothing else. So, to be fair, like you know, it's an interesting one. But yeah, that was a quick one I wanted to highlight. In terms of shows,
so there's only a couple more that I would say. I have personally been watching 90 Day. I think you guys have heard us talk about that a lot in our Ratchet TV episodes. But basically, I've been like making my own self laugh because I've created this thread on Twitter where like I add on to the thread when there's been a new spin-off series. So there's currently
you created your own thread?
every time there's a new 90 Day Fiancé, I'm like, by the way, there's an update. So there's now 90 Day Fiancé The Single Life, for example. I've made my own thread because I'm like, I need to keep up.
Wait, so how does that work? I don't really know Twitter that much. So what does that mean?
So basically, like, I started writing. So a thread is when you just like continued on from what you previously said, basically. So if you've written a tweet at a time, you can like reply to your own tweet and it creates a thread.
See, okay,
so you can just keep reading it. Yeah. So basically, I created that about 90 Day Fiancé. So I think there's about 12 spin-offs.
Is there that many?
Because I mean,
you're including like
Charlene,
you're including fucking Pedro and that one's on it, Chantal.
Oh, actually, I didn't put that on, so there you go, 13. So it's gonna keep going, guys.
Basically,
one of the spin-offs, is 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After, and that's basically like about after they've been married or whatever, they go back maybe like a couple of months or a year later to see how they're getting on. Oftentimes, it's going really bad. I mean,
but
sometimes it's going all right.
So.
Yeah, exactly. But it's going all. I mean, some people it's going well. So we've got our classics, our favourites. Michael and Angela are back, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, I swear they've been in like the most series of 90 Day Fiancé.
I mean, but they're
they must
fucking
have.
entertaining.
They're so entertaining. That's why they need to. That's why they keep bringing them back. They must have been on like, I don't know.
Listen, Angela's bought herself a house, my nigga. Like, what I'm trying to understand is how.
Yeah, she bought a house, Ross.
Yeah, that's where all her and her grandkids live. It's a large house as well in Georgia.
Oh, so I didn't know that. Oh, so she afforded that from the show.
It must have been. But what I'm trying to understand is how Michael's still not able to get to America.
I don't, honestly.
Like,
I don't.
They've literally been together for years. They've probably been married for like 2 years now.
Yeah, but they've been together for like a long time. I swear.
I'm
like 5-6 years.
What else
now.
does immigration need?
I don't know.
Like, she's gone to Nigeria quite a few times now.
Yeah, and they got married, so they thought that would be enough. But like, I don't know. I guess it's just getting trickier and trickier, and I think COVID's obviously making it harder as well.
Yeah.
So hopefully he can go overseas.
I kind of want him to come now because I actually felt like I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, I
want to see Michael in America.
Do you know what I mean? I think as ever, like I was quite skeptical as everyone else was because it's kind of like, especially like a lot of things he was saying, like when they first met, like she's a bit larger than I thought, or he was like, she's elderly and things like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, elderly. I was just thinking about something else when she said it. But no, I think that like in the beginning he was kind of not sure, but then I think he like fell in love with her.
No, I agree, and she's wild. She's actually wild. Like we're not even trying to sit here and pretend like she's not wild. She's crazy. Like
she cracks
when I say
that
he looks in the direction of someone else. Like it's done out here. It's done out here. Like
she's like Michael. Yeah, she'll go. Oh,
she is crazy. So you know what? He's done well, and yeah, I'll be honest with you. I didn't believe it to start with. I'm not sure how genuine it was to start with, but I think I actually do believe it now, to be fair.
Yeah, I think they are like genuinely in love, so good for them.
I mean, yeah, Michael's hilarious.
Michael's, I mean, both of them together are just ridiculous.
Because all she ever does is talk about their like sex life, and I just find it so strange.
She loves it. She loves it. And it was actually funny because in the most recent episode, so basically Angela's getting a gastric bypass. She's getting that done, and then like they were like, oh, obviously if you get it done, you're gonna have a lot of excess thick skin, so we're gonna bring in like a plastic surgeon, and he's gonna talk to you about like getting that done. She's like, oh, okay, and it's just like black Ghanaian guy, and she's like, oh, she's like, what's your name? He's like, Michael. And she was like, oh, it's a sign. And the way she was flirting with this guy, he was like, yeah, so you're gonna need to like remove your gown so I can just see where I'm gonna need to adjust. She was like, oh, she's like, this is a bit soon, isn't it? I was like, Angela, you need to stop. And the guy was like, he was like, she's a very beautiful woman, like she was flirting a lot, but I had to keep it professional. I was like, fair enough. She does something to the guy.
Angela got the golden sugar. What do you mean?
Yes. Fair play to her. Like, crack me up.
No, shouts out to them, man. 90 Day worked out a way to survive, man. You got, because aside from all the 90 days, as you say, happy ever after, what now, other way, you've also got like, as I said, Chantal and Pedro. You've got the was it Pedro?
Gosh, Chantal, yes.
And then you've got I've had to compartmentalize them because they're just so toxic.
So toxic.
And then you've got Stacey and Lacey. No, what's that show called?
Stacey and Darcy. My bad.
Yeah. And there's so many. I mean, you even forget about the actual 90 Day Fiancé. Because that's
exactly. Because when it comes back, you're like, oh yeah.
It's just in the back burner. Do you know what I mean? Can we talk about Jocelyn's cabaret? I'm laughing, but apparently it's quite.
Your reaction is very appropriate because
it's actually rude. No, but I heard that
show. When I tell you, it's a mess. It is.
I heard she did like madness. I heard she did like madness.
Yeah, I mean, we could call it that.
Talk about a woman had a...
So
like
there was a clip, yes. Okay, so there was a clip that was circulating around Twitter, and basically this girl was Jocelyn was talking about something, and a girl was in the back crying. So the cabaret show is basically she's putting on a cabaret in Miami, Atlanta, all different locations, whatever. So yeah, there was a girl crying in the back crying. She's like, what's going on? Like, why are you crying? She's like, oh, you know, it just hit me really hard. You know, like I had an abortion because like, you know, the baby father, like we weren't making money, and like, you know, I wanted to do this or that, and it was twins. And then like some girl who was there muttered under breath, oh, double homicide. And it was like, huh? Are you joking? And the girl was like, no what way. And it was just very, very wild. And then I think they were starting to have a fight. I think what did the girl say? She was like I'm surprised those babies aren't like, she said something more about the babies, and I was like, no, it's just, the show is a mess.
I'm sorry, but everything on Zeus is a mess though.
Toxic. Everything on Zeus is actually a mess.
Toxic. Like, are you kidding? Like toxic. China and her mum, that shit is a mess. Like
toxic.
That shit is actually. And
then China's mum's fucking dating show, like
it's a mess. Everything on that channel is a mess. Like I'm literally like, Zeus actually came. If a black person doesn't own that network, I'll be very angry, because you come into exploit. Isn't it
Princess and Ray J?
Oh, do they own the Zeus network? Do they own it?
I know they were doing that thing called The Conversation.
Oh yeah,
I feel like they're involved.
Well, I would hope so, because otherwise it's just another. Well, yeah. So I'm talking about the person who actually owns the network, though. Like another. I would like to hope it's not another white person exploiting black people, because it's just.
Well, this is the thing. Well, that's what doesn't make sense to me, because obviously, like Princess and Ray J, especially Ray J, were like, you know, like Mona Scott. So I'm talking about Love and Hip Hop now. They're like, Mona Scott's exploiting us, this and that. But it's like, but wait, you've just produced all of these problematic shows again about black people. So like, I don't understand.
But also, they're on Couples Retreat, which is another Mona Scott Young show anyway.
They're on Couples. Oh my god.
Yes, I mean, I'm not watching that. I've tried to tone down that side of my reality show watching, because it's actually like, well, first of all, I'm not watching anything on Zeus. But also like I just feel like I like the traditional Love and Hip Hop. Like that's probably about it. I'm not gonna watch Couples Retreat. I didn't watch the random one where they stayed in the house and there was all the couples there. Like I didn't watch that either, because I'm just like, got time for that.
Was that the one with like Hazel E in it last time or something?
I can't. It's the one with like, no, that's Marriage Boot Camp. I'm talking about the one that happened before Couples Retreat, where he had like Scrappy in them. Like there was like a Love and Hip Hop something. April was in it. And she was crying about stuff and
family reunion, something
like that. Yeah, I'm just not watching it. But can we talk about Justin and Wendy Williams though?
Oh,
Justin Hernandez and Wendy Williams. That might be the funniest show I've watched in a while. Like so for those that don't know, Wendy Williams is like quite a big talk show host in America, and probably one of the only black talk show hosts right now. Well, actually, I guess you got The Real, to be fair, but I mean, as a solo show, yeah, I think she's the only one. It's Tamron Hall, but she's not anywhere near as big. So, so Wendy is like one sort of major daytime talk show host, and everyone knows Wendy's problematic. We all know that. Like, but that's how she became who she is. Like, she's had like 30 years in this game or something like that, and she's been problematic from the beginning. Like, that is how she got big. You know, by spilling people's tea. Famously, Method Man tried to beat her up because she exposed that Method Man's wife had cancer. That's like the beef.
Oh wow, yeah, that's too much. Bloody hell, man.
So anyway, Justin came on the show to promote Justin's cabaret, and you know, Wendy tried to conduct the interview, and Justin was like, yeah, but Wendy, like, I need you to give me I need you to give me my flowers, because I feel like black women come on the show and you kind of just like don't give us our flowers. Like, you know, I've executive produced my own shows. I've got the #1 show in America. Well, actually, I guess you can have #1, but I've got the #2 show in America, and like, I need you to give my flowers, because I feel like you don't sort of give black women their just due. And to be fair, what she was saying was kind of true. Like, it was true.
She was like, you don't uplift us. She's like, you don't. Yeah, like she said, we're looking for, you're a black woman.
Yeah, exactly. We're looking to you. Yeah. We're looking to you for like sort of direction, not direction as such, but like, you know, just to lead the way. And like, I don't feel like you do that. Like, so many women come on the show and you just sort of tear them down when they're not there as well. And Wendy was just like, well, to be honest with you, I had it hard too, so just deal with it. It's like, I'm not really sure if that's really the answer, Maggie. Like this, and this is my problem that I have with. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, that's alright.
This is a problem I have though with like black people sometimes who get into high places. Like, you need to do something in that position. That's how I feel. And I'm not saying that she doesn't, but I'm saying like her reaction tells me that she's not really like that fussed. Because like for me,
she doesn't care. She doesn't need to care though, because that's what she makes money off of controversy.
I get that, but to the point about how, you know, she was like, you know, well, I deal with it too, so, you know, tough shit kind of thing. That reaction is not okay, because like for me, when I get into a leadership position or position of power as a black person, I'm going to uplift other black people. That's going to be my main aim. You know, I'm trying to do it at my small position now, you know. So that for me, that reaction was, but yeah, the bit that got funny anyway was that Jocelyn kept going on, and when Wendy was trying to conduct the interview, she was like, look, she does like shoe cam, she's like, look, show me your shoes, and Jocelyn was kind of refusing to do it, and was kind of like, no, Wendy, like, you're not going to say anything, like, because Wendy just basically just wasn't responding to what Jocelyn was saying. And so she's like, look, like, I'll talk my flowers, because I'm doing well, like, I came from nothing, like, I've made my, like, you know, I was in a terrible relationship, I've made a lot of myself, I've changed my ways, like, I've really improved. And so Wendy gets some of the set decoration flowers and dashes it at the screen.
Oh my, she's like, here, have your flowers.
She's at the screen. It was crazy. And then afterwards,
and I think,
sorry, go.
I was gonna say, I think that what was so wild is that she came onto Wendy's show to actually do this. And I'm just surprised that they even aired it, because like, for me, if that was my show and someone come to drag me,
but she's live, that's why they had to air it.
Getting aired. Yeah, well, I guess so.
So yes, so like Wendy's like one that only shows is actually live. So
so they couldn't. I forget.
So she can actually like, because I think if it was Ellen and on that note, she's been cancelled.
Ellen's been cancelled.
If it was Ellen or anyone else, they film like ahead of time. But Wendy's actually live from New York City, so so there's nothing much they could do about it. So I guess they'd make them peas and add it onto the YouTube channel, innit?
There you go.
But yeah, I feel like, you know, Jocelyn is something else.
But yeah, I mean, and she can't really speak much when she's got such a problematic show herself. So I mean,
well, that's the thing.
We can't really. But yeah, I think this is a good place to wrap it up.
Definitely.
We've had there's been a lot of highs and lows in this conversation, but like, as we said in the beginning, this is Mental Health Awareness Week, and we do hope that you are taking care of your mental health, and if you know if it's not well at the moment, that you can seek out somewhere that can help, you know, be it through therapy or talking to your friends, being it online,
music, art
music,
therapy, creative therapy, painting, like just definitely try and find a way to like calm down your mind is the best way I can put it. You know,
100%. But yeah, thanks for listening, guys.
Thank
we'll
you.
be back soon, and take care. Bye.